All right. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Take care. Yes. Where was I? Now, let's see here. Trying to decide on what color to use, and I know it's gonna make a big mess because I have a lot of already have a lot of pastel built up here. I wanted to stand out, but if I use a complement to this, if I make it yellow, it's gonna get very brown here. Let's jump to this one for a little bit. So this, what I had done here, I only had the no, I did. This is scalenius. I think this was the, if I remember correctly, this was this one here. That was the levator scapulae, which is that. Okay. And so this that I drew here, that is the I think I'll use, I'll use red. I'll use the brightest color. I'll use a red orange. And see, I like to separate this, then there's that portion, one portion that goes like to the number 2, then another to the 3, and then there's another portion that goes on the tip of the scapula here. So this is the trapezius, and underneath is that the levator, not the levator, the supraspinatus underneath this. And see that this is the levator scapulae. That's the widest part of the neck. Trying to, it's one muscle, but it has different attachments. It has different separations like that. A little bit of a darker brown here. See, so this guy, this angle here, I think is looking very nice and complete. On this, I guess I should take some time here and to emphasize on this view the cylindrical quality of this portion here. And the tendon. A little bit of a highlight. And a little bit more of that flat portion. So that's the highlight of this, these scaleneus muscles. A little bit of blue because that's where they kind of go inside. And also some blue here to separate these. Okay, now I'm gonna do the trapezius on the side view. Let me move it over a little bit more. So now these I'm gonna do with this red orange. Is that first portion? And I'm gonna add a little bit of mass back here. See, this is the portion that attaches. Something like this. Now, I'm gonna separate them. I'm gonna cover all this up with red and white. So I'm doing like strokes going up. Kind of trying to emphasize it like a side plane and then like a top plane here. So now I'm gonna use some of this white. Now everything's just kind of blending together. I need to separate it from the semi-spinalis. 1 portion, 2, 3. So this will be very sunken in this semi-spinalis. So using a little bit of this blue violet. I want to emphasize this is a little flat. The top's kind of flat here. So that's the trapezius. And that see now I think the whole neck looks better. Kind of define the muscles a little bit better. Added some highlights. See this? So now that is that point right there. Okay, I think that is, now we can move on to the rest of the, what about the back view? Yeah, let me show you what happens with the trapezius on the back. Let me just move the drawings here. So look on this view, I'm gonna remember this is the 7th cervical vertebrae. The spinous process. I'm gonna make it yellow. You don't want to lose that. And what happens with the trapezius, it doesn't cover up that portion or that, you know, that what you want to do here is you want to do this. There's like a diamond shape over this that is tendon. That is used by the trapezius to attach. And look up one of those muscle magazines or look up online like you know, those bodybuilders. You see this triangular structure there in the back. Not triangular, but diamond shape. And then I'm going to do this with white here. So it's going to do this. And with the trapezius, there's a portion that attaches to the neck, to the back of the neck, and a portion that attaches, like the one we did, attaches here makes this mass here, and then a very thin portion that goes down. What's called trapezius has 3 portions, 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm gonna cover it with the red orange, but I think I gotta make it a little bit more yellow so it stands out more. And see, now it makes the whole neck here makes more sense. Some yellow to emphasize, this the neck portion, and then some highlight here for the shoulder portion. And just like, the different portions that it has. So that's the back view of the trapezius. Of course, it has, on both sides, but here, I think that's enough because also on this side, I didn't put this. See, this one is the levator scapulae, so that one will probably go in here. Probably see a little bit, right? So that's trapezius on the back of the neck. And I'll post pictures later, and I'll post the recording so you can copy the drawings more accurately. So I gotta move on to back to that front view and side view. Okay, back to these two guys here. And to get started on this, see these two forms, you see this, right? These two little circles. That's called a node, which means it means knot, like a noodle, the node. And it's a structure that forms on the corners of the mouth. And it's a bundle of connections of different muscles of the face. And it's not a muscle on its own, but it's just a point where all these other muscles connect. So it makes that you know, that little structure right there. And you can observe these on your face. You can also, like, if you stick your index finger into the corner of your mouth, and with your thumb you can feel that round shape there. You can kind of feel for it. Of course, wash your hands first. You probably have pastels on your hands. So I'm going to draw that, because as you can see on this other drawing, see, that's that right there, that green one, that's the node, and all these muscles attached there. Not only from the upper part of the face, but also from the lower part of the face. Where's that other drawing? I know there's a lot of overlap of colors, but here you see that little bit, that little round form. See, everything kind of goes there. So that's why I want to put that in first. And I guess yellow would be a good color. So look here, to find it, if, like I said, it's in the corner, it's on the corners of the mouth. So I've got the teeth, right? And so I'm going to drop a line. I'm going to draw the whole line, but like following a line from the pupil all the way down, somewhere here. That's where that node is going to be. And also here, I'm going to bring it down. And also, well, on this side, also bring it on the side view from the eye, bring it down, put a little at the line of the teeth, we put it there. And I'm gonna use some red chalk just to make a little circle, blend it in a little bit. So that is the node. Let me focus on this view for now. I think I made one a little too high, one a little too low. Just fine. Now, so this is going to help us get the mouth, right? Also, the muscle of the mouth is, like I had mentioned last week, it's very much like the muscle that goes over the eyes. You know, so I'm gonna do that one first, because also a lot of these other muscles overlap it. So I'm gonna do the mouth, and to do this, this is kind of what you want to do. This is on the And look, at this point, I'm just gonna do this here. Now I'll put the lips over this. The lips, if you think about it, you know, there's skin that is coming from the inside of the mouth and going outside the mouth. If you feel the texture of your inner mouth and the texture of your lip, it's very similar. But see, this is just this is how the muscle of the mouth would, this is, you know, separating top and bottom. But see, it does this. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking I probably put this too close together. I'll probably have to move it over a little bit. But because it's pastel, I can cover it, you know, fairly easily. So that is the orbicularis oris. Do that. And I'll use some white also to just kind of get the white chalk. It's a little bit easier to. Now I haven't put the lips on there yet. So again, it's following that circular shape of this muscle. Just to indicate the, trying to recreate the feel of my muscle here, using some more of this red. And now I think I can move that node a little bit more to the outside. So now the lips, let me put the lips on here. Remember, you want to put your lips on here. Maybe not at this moment, but I'll come back and do that. Just to outline them. And then I like to do the two portions for the bottom lip. That kind of keystone shape. The camera's a little crooked here. There you go. and blend them. There you go. Then a little bit of pink. And there's like a very sharp, not sharp, but there's like a definite edge to the, between the lips and the rest of the muscles of the mouth. Just bring up this a little bit more. Now I'm looking for maybe a little bit of green to create a, just for the, create more depth in here. So I think that's good. It's not bad. I like this. So he's got, I don't think they're quite my lips, but I'll come back later and fix it. So there. So I have to stop working on these things. Just a little bit of a highlight here for separating it. All right, I think that looks cool there. I wonder how that green worked out. Just to show the boundary of the orbicularis oris. That's the node. And this comes up right to the bottom of the nasal cavity. It's right here. So that's the muscle of the mouth with the lips. And I should take a picture of this. I like how it looks here. Now we're gonna go to the zygomatic, bone. So the muscle we're gonna draw from there is the first one. It's a zygomaticus major, and there's also a zygomaticus minor. And see this area of the face in paintings, this is the reddest part, and it's these muscles that we're gonna draw right now. So starting from the zygomatic And let me show you see right from the very edge to the node. Right, so from here and on this side, and it's overlapping the masseter, the cheek. So that's why I'm gonna use a lot of reds and pinks here, because this is the most colorful part of your face when you're painting it, or of any portrait. So some red and some pink here. Cyclomaticus major. And if you start to, put all this information together, this is this defines the front plane and then the side plane of the face. I'll use some of this viridian here to create the overlap. Now I want to separate these muscles, but they're probably a lot closer than what I'm going to, than the way I'm going to draw. And this one comes from like right under the eye here. And I have this boundary, right? The maxilla and the zygomatic. And so it's zygomaticus minor, so it has to start there at that edge. And this goes to the mouth, right? It goes to the and the same thing on this side. This is like zygomaticus minor. A little bit of pink. More pink here. But also this muscle helps in make this, there is a groove or like a fold that starts to happen here. Right. Or you see this on older people. I'll start to kind of wrap it here. That green. See, I'm curving it right there to create that sense of that fold that happens at the that happens in this area here. So cyclomatic is major, cyclomatic is minor. Let's see which one to do next. Remember, this comes from under the eye. And what I'm going to do also is I don't want to lose my edge here of the nasal cavity. The next muscles will come in that area right there. That gap, we have a little bit closer. So just like we had the levator scapulae, right? Because it's called levator because it picks it up. We have the levator labia, which picks up the lips. That's what's gonna go in here. And it'll be right next to this. Some books have it as just one, comes from under the eye also, but attaches to the maxilla. And some books have it broken up into two, also like a major and minor, but we're just gonna do it because we're running out of space. And there's several other muscles here. Here I'm using pure red. And I'll put some white. Right here so that it creates that sense that it's folding over kind of like a ribbon. And this green that has been working. This is the levator labia. See, so pretty quickly it's starting to fill up all the spaces of the face here. And we're closing up here, coming to the nose. Now there's the one we're gonna do. You can see them here on this drawing. They go over the brow. These are called the thinking muscles. If you do a lot of thinking, not necessarily a lot of positive or like just good kind of thinking, you could be having evil thoughts. This part of your brow gets very, very thick if you're constantly thinking. And then those are on the upper part of the brow, and then there's two more that attach to the bottom here, and they help pick up your nostrils on the side of the nasal cavity. So those are the ones we're going to do. And then we'll construct the nose. I think it's always good to go over what is under the nose here. It's cartilage. We'll also do that. And we've got about an hour. I think we can, I don't know if we'll finish both views, but I think we'll do definitely this guy here. So we're going to go to the brow. And look, this is the kind of like the diagram of those muscles. And on the terminology, what's the terminology? The one in the middle, this one, the lime green, it's the procerus. If you look at that term, that image that I gave you with all the terminology, that's what's gonna go there. Now, I'm gonna try and also do this with green. And this goes pretty much to the top of the nasal bones. So this is like the boundary that the books give it, right? But more than likely, like it blends into the frontalis. Probably does that. But you want to keep the triangular shape. Remember, this goes under, so I'm going to make it darker here. So this is the procerus, the thinking muscles. I'm going to blend it into the frontalis. And I don't want to lose this highlight up here. So I'll put a bit more white. Because the dominant shape there is the brow. Look at this green here. It's darker green. Now the next two that they overlap it. And they go very close to the tear duct. So see here, I'm coloring according to the eye socket. Just outline them a little bit better. And then this one got a little lost. I don't want to totally lose it into the frontalis. And see the other two, one and two, there's two on either side. They start off right where that ends, like right next to the, I'm gonna do this orange here. And this overlaps. It helps create that furrow there of the, it's a very beautiful thing, the way all these things kind of flow into one another. And you don't want to cover up the tear duct here. And this one also helps, pick up the upper lip. Think of that expression you make when you don't like something. When you make a face, kind of lift your upper lip. That's what this helps in. I think we need a little bit of green to separate it. See, this is that furrow. Now the next one, that is, the other one helps flare up the nostrils. This one. So we're gonna do we're going to draw the cartilage of the nose, and then we'll put that other one because it goes over those. I'll just outline this here so I know where I'm working at. take a picture. Now everybody's nose is, different. Some people have wider noses and have very fine pointy noses. But these structures that we're gonna go over, they're all the same on everybody. Now, what can I draw these? Look up here. I need an open space here. Let's see right here. So look right here. I'm going to draw. Like I think I've made examples of the nose for you guys, something like this, right? Showing the front plane and the side plane. That front, that side. So there's the front plane actually is broken up by two sections. One on either side here. And oftentimes you will see a highlight on your nose right here. Now there's also other muscles that go on top of this, but like they're too tiny. I'm not gonna draw those. Right? And then on this, let's say this is the side plane of the nose. So this portion, that is what I'm going to draw here. So it looks like this on the side view. So some hatching to show that it's darker, you can see it better. And it's cartilage, it's that crunchy stuff on the chicken wings. The yellow. So that side plane and the front plane. And you see, that line is to indicate that it's two pieces on either side. So it's on. And then there is the if you look, some of you can probably see this very clearly on your nose. The tip of your nose, you can see separation. And see this, you want to think of it like a ribbon. This makes up the very tip of your nose. See, this is inside the nostril. I know that on myself, under certain light conditions, I can see this very clearly. I see like sometimes two highlights there. Now, even if you have a very fine nose, very pointy, you still have these structures, but they're of course smaller. But I would imagine on some certain lighting condition, you can also see them, right? And this goes on the side. So that's what this is here. I make this portion darker because that's this part here. A little bit of a highlight. And then you also have the wings of the nostril next to it. So what is the way you want to think of that is, like I said, like a ribbon. I draw this here. So that's the nostril, then where you cut it into two. The tip of the nostril, and then the wing. Just to show what's on the other side here a little bit. But see, that's what I mean, like it's like a ribbon. It's wrapping. And sometimes, some of these are a little bit shown to be a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. Let's put some green here. So I think this is key to understanding what's happening in the nose. I think this part is there's like a gap there. So that's the side view. You don't want to miss out putting those those shapes. Now let's try and draw them from this view. All right, so here I have to build it up with a lot of pastel. Let me use a brighter yellow here. And it can go further, a little bit further down than the nasal cavity. So this is the, I'll try and do the front plane here. That's the front plane. And these are the side planes. So this right here is a side plane, and the front right there. Like I said, it's divided down the middle. And a little bit of a, there's that gap right here before I put in the front portion of the nostril and the wings of the nostril. So here I'm going to use white. I'm going to use some darker color. I'll stick to this green here. Remember, it's like I said, it's like a ribbon. So this is these are the front portions. these are the wings. I'm going to shade it in here, create some shadow here. I'm trying not to use black, but I have to use black here. So the tip can come down here. And that's the separation there. And this last muscle we're going to add. Also, remember you've got the little groove here. You can shade that in like what I'm doing. And so this guy's looking pretty good now. Let's see. Up here it's all coming together. Still got to finish. Starting to doubt myself here with the time. And the last muscle we'll add here, it's going to, these are the wings of the nostril. It's going to cover up this white area of the bone here. And they have the same origin here. I'm also going to make this one orange, maybe a little bit brighter orange. I'm going to use some black here to make the nostrils. I need some yellow here to put the boundary. That. Let me use a green. It's viridian looking green. See this is that fold, that furrow here. It goes between these two muscles. Behind the nostril. Now the next muscle that is gonna follow, it's more clearly seen on the side view. So I'm gonna go over here to the side view. And so rather quickly, I'm going to give this guy a mouth here. Procerus, oris. Cyclomatic. Cyclomatic is major. Cyclomatic is minor. And there's this muscle that grows in connection with the masseter. Kind of goes over all your back teeth here. It's called the buccinator. I don't know if you know in Spanish, that device they put on the horses on their. In Spanish, it's called el bozal. I always think it sounds like buccinator because if you look at this and it kind of looks like what they put on the horses so you can ride them and control them. So this here, very hard to see on the front view because it would make something like that shape here. But see, it's growing off of the masseter muscle, or something like that. Actually, well, see, like I misread my notes. This one, I'll show you here. There's a darker purple one, and then there's what I just called the buccinator. The buccinator is actually that darker purple one that's underneath what we just drew. So my apologies there. This one that I just drew is actually called the risorius. I've got them all color coded here. So we'll put the one that goes underneath it. This one is right on the side of your cheek. I'm gonna, these are all, connected. This is the buccinate here. So I'm gonna make them all purple, a little bit darker so that you can see that it's being overlapped. And so this is the buccinator here, attaches also to the node. This is the procerus muscle. This is the cyclomatic that's major, also overlapping. Now we just need the bottom ones. Now, right on the tip of your chin, you have a muscle that's called the mentalis, and this is what gives people that dimpled chin, because it's divided into two portions, and sometimes these portions are very prominent, so it creates that dimple in the middle of it. Now, these bottom ones, like I made this, like slightly purple. I'm gonna make them green, because on your when you paint a portrait or you draw a portrait with color, with pastels, these are on the face. This is gonna be your brightest area. This is gonna be your most colorful, and this is gonna be your most neutral. So I'm gonna use greens and blues. That's my intention. So I think, yeah, we got half an hour. We'll finish this. So I'm put a little bit of this just red over it. This red chalk. But overall, I want to keep it kind of neutral. to emphasize here. Now here, you have to keep in mind that it's going to build on the jawbone here. It's going to overlap it. Trying to give the jawline a little bit more mass because that's what the muscles do here. So I'm going to use blues and greens here. Now overlapping this one, if you look at, let me see the notes here. The next one I'm doing goes all the way up to the lips. This is called the depressor labia inferioris. Now this, it goes on this part of the lower lip. But I'm not gonna color it all in because it's this area, as you can see, it's like a weaving of muscles. So this is the depressor labia inferioris here. So you want to just outline those two, and then you want to outline this one here as well. Now just this portion, I'm gonna color blue. A very light blue. Going over keep in mind that goes all the way. I'm gonna use another color for the next muscle. The next muscle, it's the platysma. The platysma goes over the neck and down over the clavicles. But it's very thin down the neck. We see a little bit here, it's very thin. So it says, and the platysma outline this a little bit better. Like I said, the platysma has three portions. One portion that attaches to the lips, which is this one here. And then another portion that attaches to the node. So let's color those two. And then there's one that attaches to the mandible, from the mandible to the node. So, well, we can, let's do those two and then we'll do that last one. This is the labial portion of the platysma. Not to be confused with the placenta. And then the one that attaches to the nose looks darker green. See, green always looks very unnatural for this, for the face. Starts to immediately look like a lizard. I'm gonna go over with a little bit of pink. Now, I don't want to lose the orbicularis oris here, because this is the more dominant muscular form here. And then this is the mandibular portion of the platysma. This is the procerus muscle here. And then, of course, over all this, depending on your diet, you'll have different degrees of layers of fat on this. And so that's pretty much it. Yeah, we still got time here. Oh, there's one more. There's the pressor angular oris. And that goes, I'm gonna make that a brighter color. So you have this blue one, it goes pretty much over the blue one. And attaches to the node. I ran out of greens and blues here. Let's go back to the red. So very colorful anatomical drawing here. I don't think if I'm missing anything. Well, he needs ears also. Remember the ears. Space they'll occupy. So I think that's, yeah, I mean, I think that's good there. What do we do now? I'm going to, I think we have time, but what I want to do instead of looking at your drawings, the drawing of the Belvedere torso, I think what I want to do is look at your anatomical drawings. So just give me a minute here. I can stop recording.